And here's the Sears Craftsman, now all cleaned up with a Kohler powered engine. Couldn't get this to start, it cleaned up really nice. I've got the fuel line pinched, looks like we've got a fuel related problem with this. So just like that recent Toro that I got, I'm going to start by taking the carburetor off. We're going to start by taking this cover off. Air filter cover. These are very easy to work on, and see if we can find out the mystery of what's wrong with this. And these are 10mm nuts to take off to get the air filter housing and the carburetor off. And the air filter cover's off. Now I need to disconnect this bracket here, which is part of the auto choke, and there are 2 screws here that need to come out, and this is where the auto choke runs back over here where the muffler is. And the auto choke's been disconnected. Now we just need to remove that linkage. This carburetor is almost ready to come off. Now we just need to remove this throttle linkage and this tension spring. And they both have been removed now. This carburetor is ready to come off. We just need to take the gas line off here. And I drained all the gas that was in this bowl by taking this drain bolt out here. It's a 10mm, and there's definitely gas in there. And we have taken the fuel line off. This carburetor is ready to come off. And there it is. It looks really clean. We got a problem with the float and or a jet in here. So we're going to take the bowl off and see what we can find. So I cleaned the outside of this carburetor off. I'm ready to take the bowl off. And I'm just using a clean, empty gallon water jug here. So here we go. And this looks just as clean as that other Kohler engine carburetor, except it does smell like real old gas. Okay, let's get the float pin out. And we're going to clean all this really good. And that's the float and needle. And now let's get this nozzle and jet out of here and see if we can find an issue with that. And now we're taking this jet out here. And I believe that hole is clogged just like the Toro was. Sure looks like it. Can't see through it. I think we got a back-to-back similar problem to the jet's clogged. Let's take a look at the nozzle here. You can see within this carburetor here, this is the nozzle. You have to kind of press that with a screwdriver to get this to come out. And here's the nozzle. We'll clean out all these little holes in here as well. I think we found the problem. The jet's clogged. So let's clean this carburetor up real good and use a fine wire to run through all these little holes and passages. And for the nozzle, we just run a wire through all these little holes here. And then we'll clean it out with carburetor cleaner. And we're ready to reassemble this carburetor now. And the problem was just like the Toro. This jet was clogged. You can see through the hole now. Let's clean it out with a real fine wire. And clean the nozzle out. And clean the float and the inside of this carburetor, so we're ready to reassemble. And we'll drop the nozzle in first. And then the jet. Get that tightened down. The nozzle and jet is back in. Now we'll put the float, the needle, and we'll put the float pin in. Float needle and pin is in, and now we're ready to put the bowl back on. And this drain nut needs to be facing the opposite of where the fuel flow goes in. And this Kohler carburetor has been cleaned, and we're ready to put it back on the Sears Craftsman. And now we'll do a reverse installation here and get all the linkage back on. Got the linkage back on, now we just need to put the auto choke screws back in. And the carburetor's back on. I've also put the fuel line on and released the pliers. I see no leaking, so that's good. All the linkage is on, we just need to put the air filter cover back on. And the Sears Craftsman's all back together now, got the air filter cover on. Found a clogged jet in this Kohler engine. Let's give it its first start here. This lawnmower really cleaned up nice. Here we go, first start. Alright, first time. Yes. And sounds great. Very smooth. Very quiet. Got a new blade on it. "21" cut, mulching blade. Great running lawnmower. Look at this. The Kohler powered Craftsman back to life. Runs great.